So hello everybody, welcome back. I hope that you like this video and that you find it helpful somehow. So anyway, we are going to continue talking about the advices that I know I'm behind. I'm sorry. I'm trying to make it one daily, but it has been insane. So please bear with me. Keeping up. So, having said that, then grab your coffee, and if you wanted to share with me, links for that down below. And we are going to be talking about the things that I wish I would have known, like when I was a teen, and then make them when I was a teen, and then trying to make them from the perspective of today and even the perspective of the future. And so, if I would have known that it takes so long to grow trees, like fruit trees, yeah, I would have told myself where to plant these trees, how to plant these trees, and make sure that I got them when I was a baby. Yeah, because that way I would have been collecting fruits. But here's the problem with this situation about the trees. So I live in Venezuela, and in the in Venezuela, it's like a paradise to a certain point because you walk down the street and there is a guava tree. It's just like Barbados. When you go to Barbados, uh, you walk and there is a tamarind tree, there is a sea grape tree, there is papaya trees, there are all kinds of fruit trees, and then you go kind of like, there is even breadfruit tree, there is, oh hell. So basically, there is a lot of fruit trees everywhere on the street. If you're homeless, you could probably, feed on those things when it is season. If it's not season, then you're kind of screwed. But if it is season, at least you will have those kind of things, and they are public, so you can take them everywhere. Same thing happens here. I'm sure that that happens in every country that you go to because fruit trees will grow everywhere, right? But that's a problem because certain fruit trees have such horrible roots in terms of the infrastructure that they will destroy your house. And so I have several neighbors that decided to plant mango trees right next to their doors. And now there was a time in which they didn't have water in their house, not because there was no water through the pipe. That's another issue. But because the mango tree will take all over the pipes inside the house. And then the fruit trees will also attract termites. All kinds of trees will attract termites. That's a problem. You need to you need to learn how to deal with that one also. And whenever you have a garden, you need to be aware of where the hell do you put the trees, because if you put them in the west, you're probably going to have an issue because certain trees require more light. Therefore, you need to put them in the east where there is the sun. But other trees will be shady, so you need to put them in a place that does not get so much light, meaning the west. There are trees that require more wind, and there are trees that are fireproof or at least fire resistant to a certain point. There are other trees that are so fire not proof, the other ones fire like match making thing. So it's like you put something hot nearby and the tree catches fire, and so that is also a problem. There is the very likelihood of you creating microclimates within your structure. If you do that one, even if it is winter, yes, even if it is snowing, your type of winter, not mine, yours. If you're in, I don't know, in England or whatever, even during that type of winter, you will probably keep warm, and you will also be very likely not having so many issues if you put like in the middle of the garden, you put something to get water from. That way it will be way easier. So basically set up like a water and then put it like a round structure, or at least divide it into 4 areas, but the middle should be watery. And in the middle should be the plants that require the most water and herbs and things like that, that will also keep the insects out, and it will also keep everything protected and all of that. So gardening, it's not just you throwing things and make them grow, because, but by the way, that's pretty much how I have been doing it, a lot. And so I have learned about the size of the tree, which is important, the type of the root, which is important, and then very, very, very important, that part about you uh, understanding how long it really take for you to grow this thing. Certain trees like tomatoes, they are not tree per se, but they are plants, and they will die after you collect the fruit. And so passion fruit will be the same. It takes 2 years, 2 years, sometimes 3 years to get the passion fruit, and then the tree dies. And so there are some species that are perennial, and others that will just go, dying on you. And basically, if you got only one fruit from the plant that died, then that's it. And so it's a problem. And sometimes certain plants, I swear, I have like 5 or 6 plants of coffee, and one of them keeps giving me coffee, 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 coffee. And from one plant, I have collected like 80% of my coffee. But the other ones are like, yeah, I'm giving you this much, so, and they're in the same area. So some plants are just insane in terms of production. But my uncle, he's specialized in, he is an agricultural engineer, and he's a teacher, and he has all kinds of things related to this topic. Um, he said that a lot of plants, that when they give you a lot of fruit, they will die faster. So basically, if the plant is supposed to be alive for 50 years or something like that, now they're probably going to die when they are 10 or 15 years. And so, it's also a very big deal. Um, Also, the plants for the garden is not just for your food, but for your retirement. If I would have known that I could plant 5 trees, just five, and I can, 20 years later, I can just cut them, not chop them down, meaning not on the top, on the bottom, but on the top. I could get wood, and I could get everything, and I could collect every 5 years enough money to retire. But it takes 20 years. So if I would have started when I was 18, I would probably be collecting money now, and I will be okay. And I will be collecting wood, and I will have no problems, in terms of all of these things. Therefore, also, by the way, at this point, I would probably need a very good gardener or a man in my house, so that they can, so that he can help me out with these things, because this work is very, very labor intensive. And so if you're a woman, you can do it, but it will take you longer, and it will be more difficult for you than it is for a man. And at the same time, you might need ladders, and you might need, permits and other things, but it is sustainable forever. These trees can live up to 400 years, and there are some that will live even longer. And so, if you have one of those trees in your house will also be way more valuable, because now, whenever you have a tree that has over 30 years, that area entirely gets a special kind of aura around it, and then everyone wants to be there because you feel more peaceful. Even animals will be there. And there will be so many things. Also, there are certain types of trees that whenever there is that tree, you will have that type of animal. And so it's like they are companions. It's like this animal will follow wherever that tree goes, that animal will go. Certain foxes, certain deer, and certain rodents will be there for those type of things. And so, um, if I would have known all of these things, I would have probably started sooner, because that way I will be having a house that is way more valuable, way more stable in terms of the temperature, way better in terms of the aura or the feeling that you get when you go into the house, even the smell. It will also require less water. It will also require less maintenance, and it will be better for everything. And it will be giving me food, and at the same time, it will be giving me money every 5 years, enough to pay for a whole 1 year of my expenses. And so, yeah. But buying those trees now so that I can try to take them when 20 years from now is even harder, because I can't put them in certain areas of my house, and the areas are already taken. So I'm kind of like this. It's insane. And so, but I would have planted more avocado trees, definitely, and I would have planted, oh hell, my mango trees. But I do not like the mangoes that are sweet. I like the ones that are citric, and they are like this big. We have mangoes here that have U.S. last names, like Ford mango, or Hashita mangoes, and they are English names, and the fruit is like this big, and it is insane. And we have another ones that come from the islands, as in from Curacao and the other islands, and they brought them here. And these fruits can grow, and I'm not joking, 22 kilos. 22 kilos. As huge. It's like you holding a child, okay? And the child is not even, the child is smaller than the freaking fruit. And oh god, if I was doing that, I would probably be making jams, and I will be making a lot of things, and they don't take a lot of space. These type of trees are smaller than the mango trees. The mango tree is the size of my house. My neighbor, the one that died, he had 2 mango trees that were the size of my freaking house. It was that big. Not the trunk, but like the area. It was as much as my house. So, oh hell, that is big. And so there are a lot of trees that will go ballistic and insane in terms of the height and in terms of other things. But others are kind of small, and they are manageable. And in the monasteries, they used to have gardens that will feed the entire monastery throughout the entire year. That is another thing. If you have winter and other things, then you want to have things that will feed you for every season. Not like me, because I grow things and then I don't care because I have a lot of things that will mix and match. And it's like in January I'm collecting, I don't know, let's say that I'm collecting avocados, and in February I'm collecting mangoes, and then then I'm collecting guava, and then I'm collecting, because they grow everywhere. But if you were to be specific, because it's cyclical and your life might depend on it, then you need per season. Meaning, if natural, I don't know, nuts grow and then you can collect them in September, then for this month you're collecting nuts. But you need something for September, and then for October, and then for November, and then for December, and then for January, and then and then that way you will have like a balance, and that way you will be collecting every single month throughout the year. But that one is advanced. That this is people that actually depend upon food within their house. I have seen videos of people that actually do this one, and they collect 400 kilos per year in their houses, but they do it like this, and they spend a lot of time with these systems, and they are different. Me, I don't want to depend upon this. I just want to do it because of several aspects that are important, like me teaching my daughter about this thing, because I have seen people who are 20 something, and they honest to God think that food is literally printed. They don't understand that fruits come from trees. They think that it is just printed, and they cannot get it from a tree. They see a tree and they don't even know that what type of tree is it. Before, like my grandparents, they can recognize at least 50 different type of trees. And there are areas in rural Europe in which kids who are 10 can recognize at least 50 herbs, natural herbs. Like they walk and they can see, oh, that one is lavender, that one is chamomile, that one is, I don't know, thyme, that one is coriander, that one is whatever, and they can recognize it just by, being near. But I have seen cashiers now that you are, talking, and they are like, what type of lettuce is this one? Because it's just lettuce. Yeah, there are like 50 types of lettuce. And the ones that you go to the supermarket, there are like 4 or 5 mostly. And so it's like Roman, American, Greek, and there's all kinds of lettuce. They are not all the same. And so if you are a chef and you need to ask for your kids to go and buy you the specific lettuce or the specific potato, most people can't even recognize the difference between peppers and chilies and so now it's like insane. They don't even know fruits, especially if you are a man, unless you're a chef. So men go, you're a chef, you are not a chef. If you're a chef, you probably are okay with chopping and all of that. But if not, then I'm going to tell you right now that yeah, so the whole situation with you having the garden is important, not because of just the production, but because of the knowledge. And because that way you will also be more exposed to insects and others. I have seen videos on certain YouTube channels in which people go, okay, so 50 stupidest thing that you had that I swear I don't think that you have been with people this kind of ignorant 50 years ago. So there is people that go to a national forest or a park in the US or in Venezuela or whatever it is, and these people go, why are the animals naked? It's a freaking wild animal. Why the hell will you not be naked? And okay, so real life is not Zootopia. You're not supposed to be, wearing something for the animals, especially if it is a, I don't think that I'm not a man, but I'm guessing that a man will probably take it as a challenge. But men will go, I'm thinking that in the future, there will be a profession in which men actually get paid to go and go kind of like, go and get that fox over there, get it dressed, or that wolf, or that bear, go and get it, on the other one, because it is annoying that he's naked. And I'm sure that there will be people that will go, ballistic on, get clothing for the animals. Oh my God. Because it has been so insane that even now there are, even your dogs, sometimes they are supposed to be in the sun, and they are also supposed to be, in touch with the floor, with nature or whatever it is. But then there is people that go ballistic and say, you are evil, and I am going to, talk to the police about you and the animals, and I'm going to try to make you into jail because that animal is not dressed. And then I'm kind of like, oh, and by the way, I have seen posts of some people that get, visits from animal services because they are being targeted because they don't dress their animals. And I'm kind of like, okay, so if I would have known when I was a teen and you would have told me that in the future people are pissed because animals are not wearing clothing, and people are pissed because the food is not printed, I will be going like, and if you don't do this now, I am guessing that your grandkids, yeah, I'm thinking that your grandkids are going to be kind of like, I'm living out of the photosynthesis over here because I'm a plant or something like that. And so, oh hell no, the way that we're going is going to probably be that way. And so, and so I'm looking at myself like, oh my god. If I was to try to explain this to my teen, to myself as a teen, I would probably be like, yeah, right, we're joking. I'm not believing you. Oh hell no, I'm not believing you. But I will try to make sure that at least she gets the whole point about how not to make it, so that at least the trees that I have grown for the last 5 years, at least some of them will be alive today. But I have made so many mistakes and things that is insane. And so, you know, and I would have said something like, do it as a challenge, because that way, you know, if you're talking to teens and then you say, do it as a challenge, they're probably going to do it. And so, and so, oh God, but I swear, I needed to take this one out. Because also it's very, very important that you understand how to deal with first aid when you're in a garden. Because there are a lot of people that will get allergies when you're dealing with bees, insects, certain plants. And so now you gotta recognize allergies. And it was proven that people do not know what allergies are. If you talk to general people, I'm not talking you or somebody that you know specific, or even a doctor, but I'm talking about regular people on the street. They don't understand where east is, where west is, where north is, or south. Or, by the way, I'm one of them because I can understand that the sun is over there, so it's east. But other than that, you know, I'm not very good with orientation. Men are going to be better at orientation than women. At this point, I'm going to tell you that one. However, you know, it will depend upon you, the person, but generally speaking, it will be like that. And so the whole situation with you being outside is extremely important, because if you get lost, you want to understand at least the very basics of where the hell is the east. And that one you can figure out the rest. But it's important. I understand that one since I'm a teen, but if I would have go back, I would have taught myself better orientational skills. And this one can be taught. I mean, my dad taught me how to read a map and all of those things, so I know. But I would have reinforced that one by certain areas or logic or something like this. I mean, for me, it's like a skill that I just don't have it. And whenever I don't have it, then I'm, you know, I'm spending more time and spending more fuel, money, whatever, because I don't have that skill. However, you know, a lot of my friends do have that skill. And so we kind of compensate. You don't have to be absolutely good at everything that you do, but you want to at least have some sort of basic. And then you want to try to improve a little bit so that you can have a more solid foundation in terms of those things. Because when you go outside, I spend a lot of time because I found that tree and I need that fruit, or I want that tree in my house, and then I can't find it. And I spent sometimes weeks trying to figure out in my head, where the hell did I see that tree? So that I can, you know, go and tell my neighbor to give me some fruits or something, so that I can try to reproduce that tree. And so navigational skills are going to be extremely helpful when you are trying to locate things that are not in a map. And you might rely upon memory or something like that, which is what you have at this moment. And then you go kind of like, but I have a cell phone. Right. I don't go out with cell phones, so I don't use cell phones for everything. Because there will be a point in which people will say, I can't breathe without my cell phone. My cell phones are my lungs. And then you go, okay. So that's a future that, quite frankly, is just too annoying. And so I'm not going to go down the road that one. But it's important that you understand the whole thing about that one. And it is important that you start as soon as possible, especially especially if you're going to make the one for retirement. Because if you're planning on retire, like I said, it's going to cost you 50 cents a tree. But then that tree in 20 years, it is going to be worth $40,000. Oh hell, where do you spend 50 cents and then you get $40,000? You know. So anyway, I got interrupted. My mom is having is someone at the door. So anyway, other things that I wish I would have known is I wish I would have started making exercises for my face when I was 20. Not now, when I was 20. I started recently and it works. But I would have started when I was 20. Sorry, I got interrupted again. So anyway, like I was saying, I would have probably started when I was 20 with the exercises for my face. Quite frankly, it's annoying. The exercises for your face and your neck. And